A whirlwind week in politics, from gerrymandering to corruption scandals. And will a red envelope of cash be the red herring in the mayor's race? The Point starts right now. Nicole Malliotakis is the congresswoman representing Staten Island and southern Brooklyn, and there is so much to talk about. I'd like to start by talking about gerrymandering. Texas has decided to gerrymander 5 congressional seats, turn them to Republican. There's going to be a reaction in California and here in New York. How do you feel about the fact that Kathy Hochul now wants to change the seats and to gerrymander some seats and turn them from Republican to Democrat?
Well, first of all, let me make clear that regardless of whether it's Republicans or Democrats doing it, gerrymandering is wrong. It's very corrupt. It takes away the voice of the people. We need to have competitive maps. So the voters are the ones who decide who represents them. And if they're not happy, they have the ability to fire that individual. What we have in New York City, sadly, is only one competitive seat, which happens to be mine. But yeah, in 2022, they tried to egregiously gerrymander my seat, and we sued. And that was the reason the entire state map was thrown out. The voters of New York have made it very clear. They want independence when redistricting these maps. They do not want political gerrymander. They made it clear in referendum. So when we sued and got the entire map thrown out, we got a judge to do it.
See, but here's the real question. So now that there's a war of gerrymandering, Texas started it. They want because the control of the House in 26 is a big deal. So they want to have 5 more Republican seats. California is going to do 5 more Democratic seats, and that's going to start a whole war around the country. And when they look at New York and they look at the Republican seats they can gerrymander, you're target number 1.
Well, I think that, first of all, I think it was wrong that the Republicans in Texas open up this floodgate. I don't agree with it. And it's clear in the law that that politically redrawing our maps has to be done every decade, once a decade, as it relates to the census. So it shouldn't be happening. But here we are. And we're going to have to just continue to fight the state legislature on this. They can't do it, number one, without a constitutional amendment. And that constitutional amendment would have to be approved by the voters. So the earliest this could happen would potentially be for 2028, but the voters will have a say unless they dismiss the will of the voters like they did back in 2022 when the voters said they didn't want political gerrymandering and they decided to do it either way. But I think Republicans can win on merit. We just delivered significant tax relief. We restored the SALT relief. We were able to get the senior deduction where 88% of seniors are going to see their tax on Social Security eliminated. We are going to see the economy continue to do well. We saw the GDP growing. We're seeing trillions in private investment. Manufacturing is expanding here in the United States. And I think that we're going to continue to see these good things happening. And Republicans don't need to do what Democrats have done in New York, which is to gerrymander to try to tilt the scale.
So if Republicans don't need to do this, why is Texas doing it at the behest of President Trump?
Well, it's a very good question for the members in Texas, but I've been very clear in saying I don't agree with it, whether it's Republicans or Democrats doing it. In fact, I think we need to find a way to move forward with, perhaps we want to start using artificial intelligence or some type of computerized mapping system where it is completely competitive and it's done in a fair and balanced manner to give you the most competitive seats, districts throughout the country in each state, so that way the voters really have optimal say, and people have to go out there and fight for each and every vote. They need to explain their voting record, and they need to win on merit. And like I said, right now, New Yorkers don't really have that choice in New York City. All these Democrat districts, they're what's called like plus 20, 30 Democrat districts. Mine is the closest to a competitive race, and we won by double digits because we're doing exactly what I just said we should be doing, which is going out and winning each and every vote and having a voting record that reflects what the people who sent me to Washington to do wanted.
So the next question I have is this. The president also wants to end mail-in ballots. He says that that's a way to steal an election. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think that certain states like New York have expanded mail-in ballots to have no excuse that anyone can get it. And since some states do it automatically, where they send you a mail-in ballot, whether you requested it or not, that's wrong, and there needs to be safeguards put in place. However, we do need to maintain mail-in ballots for legitimate reasons. If somebody's on vacation and not going to be in the district on that day, somebody's disabled, senior citizens, military service. These are legitimate reasons. So I don't think it is possible to really eliminate mail-in voting completely, but it does need to be limited, and it does need to be safeguarded, and it does need to be within a certain time frame. What we saw in California, where ballots were coming in weeks after the election. One of my colleagues was winning by 5% on election night, and then all of a sudden she lost by a few votes. Weeks later, that smells of corruption, and those are the types of safeguards that need to be put in place to prevent that from happening.
So how do you feel about the fact that Justin Brannan is thinking of running against you?
Well, look, Justin Brannan is so out of sync with the people of Staten Island and southern Brooklyn. Here's somebody who supported and voted to defund the police. He was a co-sponsor of the bill to let non-citizens vote in our local elections, something that I went to court and stopped successfully. He's supporting Zohran Mamdani, the most radical left candidate. He's chosen to align himself with that. The other day he was calling for no cooperation with ICE to deport people who are in our country illegally committing crimes. And, by the way, as finance chairman, he has increased property taxes year after year because the property tax levy under his watch as finance chairman has gone up. So he is really so out of sync and will not be accepted by the people of Staten Island and Brooklyn.
I need to ask you about Mamdani being what looks like the presumptive candidate for mayor in New York. Excuse me. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I think that as people learn more about him, they're going to reject his policies. Hopefully that'll happen, that they'll learn more about him before the election, because this is somebody who will make New York City less safe, less affordable. If you look at what he has supported already, he supports defunding the police. He supports abolishing ICE. He doesn't believe that there should be there's a place for prisons in our society. He has embraced the radical bail law that has released criminals onto our street. Now he's saying he wants to decriminalize more crimes, including prostitution, which would just deteriorate quality of life further in our city. And he's embraced the radical ideology of Karl Marx, literally out of the communist playbook of Karl Marx, seizing the means of production, abolishing private property rights, government-run supermarkets. These are not things that I think common sense New Yorkers support. There
are those who think that President Trump would love to have him as the mayor because he could make him the face of the Democratic Party nationally, which some think would help in 2026 to keep control of Congress.
Well, that may be true. Politically, it might be a dream for Republicans to have a face of the party that is a communist face, but that is not something that I want as a resident and taxpayer here in New York City. I love this city, and we have to make sure that we put it on the right path. He has been very clear, saying he wants to bring our city back to his favorite mayor's vision, Bill de Blasio. That is not something I think New Yorkers want, nor do I think the New Yorkers who fled communism and socialism, like my mother fled Cuba, want somebody who literally embraces those radical policies of Karl Marx. I think that the more New Yorkers learn about him, that they will reject him at the ballot box. And I hope that, they learn about him soon. And I count on people like you in the media to expose him.
Well, you were an assemblywoman in Albany who ran for mayor. He's an assemblyman in Albany running for mayor. Do you see some similarities there?
Well, it's funny because they said I didn't have enough experience to run the largest city in the country, the biggest economic engine of our country. But yes, I was in the assembly for twice as long, and I certainly was a citizen for much longer than he is. And I think that I would reject him not just on that lack of experience. That is a big lack of experience. Only being a citizen for 7 years, only being in the state assembly, the only office he's held for 5 years, with no other real experience in the world. But what I think what makes him most dangerous is the ideology that he has embraced, that he will, again, tie the hands of the NYPD, seek to defund them, get rid of jails in our society, embrace policies that would drive up costs, that would drive businesses and our tax base out of this city. These are things I think that common sense Democrats, Independents, Republicans would agree with me on. And I look, I have 3 other candidates. We never had so many choices in the mayor's race before. And if they don't, I think they've got to find one of those other candidates that they think are more palatable.
So we're going to have to leave it right there for now, but our conversation continues right after the show on our streaming channel, CBS News New York. What a week in politics. A red envelope of cash, and the woman Mayor Adams calls his sister faces new corruption charges. The boys are here to sort it all out. Political consultant O'Brien Murray and J.C. Polanco, a professor at the University of Mount St. Vincent. Look, the indictment of Ingrid Lewis Martin, who the mayor has always called his sister, very closest to him in the administration, and a whole bunch of other city officials and people who were donors to his campaign. What effect is this going to have on the mayor's race, if any? JC?
It's terrible. It's the last thing he needed heading into Labor Day. I mean, to really, another person in your administration getting indicted, this time, not by the feds, but by the locals. I mean, really, give me a break. We're tired of it. When you take a look at some of the things coming out of this indictment, the lawyer in me, she's innocent until proven guilty. This is merely an accusation. Got that out the way. Good. Now, in the court of public opinion, this is disastrous. And quite frankly, it's almost as if the mayor is trying to go into a new career after this, writing the next trilogy for The Godfather, 4, 5, and 6, because this is what it looks like. I've never seen so many indictments, so many charges, so many phones confiscated. We're done with this. Enough is enough.
Let me ask you this question. If you take a look at this indictment, it looks at a gazillion agencies. It's got DOB, FDNY, DCAS, DOT, you name it. There's charges involving all these agencies. What does that say to you, and what effect do you think it has on mayor's campaign?
Well, the one thing this does is she is the right hand of the mayor, has been since day one, was in the Senate, has been forever. What you have now is the constant drumbeat. You have the CFB turning them down, and the mayor then appealing that throughout. You have one arrest, then you have another arrest, then you have a plea, then the past month and a half, you have the police commissioner, the former police commissioner, filing a lawsuit against this mayor. You have a constant drumbeat, and this is not something that a campaign can sustain at all. And the mayor, don't forget, is way down in the polls to begin with and going down. He blew every chance to go up in this thing after the Democratic primary, and he's gone down.
I've got to ask you one question. So there's one part of the indictment where it says that allegedly she used the Department of Buildings and the fire department to fast-track permits for a karaoke bar. It has echoes of one of the charges in Mayor Adams' indictment having to do with approval of the Turkish embassy. Does that bring that all up again, and is that something that voters will focus on? I
think it's not a question of focus on anything. It is just, they don't have to focus. It's just right there in buckshot right in front of them. And it's the constant narrative that becomes the same thing. And I think this also just shows that the perception is the reality. Yes, it's an allegation. Yes, innocent until proven guilty. But as far as the voters care, between now and the next 70 days at this point, all they care about is what they see, and that perception is reality.
I don't even understand anymore, Marcia. I got to tell you, why is the mayor still running? I mean, what are you doing?
That was my next question.
What are you doing? I mean, really, what formula are they using? There's no chance you're going to win this. New Yorkers are tired of this. I like this mayor a great deal. I'm so disgusted with yet another set of indictments. It's time for him to drop out and endorse former Governor Cuomo. Just get out of the race now. Make this interesting. You have Curtis Lewa polling at about 20%. Just endorse Governor Cuomo. See if you can make this a real race heading. This should be a 2-3 person race.
What's the over-under on Adams staying in the race or getting out of the race?
I don't see Adams ever leaving this race for one simple reason. His mantra, what he's talked about is, I didn't run the Democratic primary. I'm here to go after in the general, and that's my race. Secondly, the minute he doesn't run anymore and he suspends his campaign, he's a lame duck. And I think the longer he's in this race, he believes he is still a viable candidate, which he's not. This is a 3-person race at this point. You have Mandami, Cuomo, and Curtis Lewa. That's it right now, a 3-person race, and Adams bringing up the rear.
That's it. I mean, I couldn't agree more. But as far as him going to be a lame duck, he is a lame duck. You can't go past 6%, 8%. This indictment is going to make it worse. We're not even at Labor Day. New Yorkers are going to be focused more than ever after Labor Day on what's going on. And quite frankly, they want to turn the page on this.
Well, lame duck, he's still vetoing bills that the city council put up.
He'll still be a lame duck even if he stops or he continues.
I'm just saying, but he still continues to actively do things as mayor, not worry about transition.
Okay, so let's ask you this question. There's a new poll by AARP this past week, which basically had Zohran Mamdani at 41, others in various numbers, Mayor Adams at 8. And if you broke it out head-to-head, one against the other, just a mano-a-mano competition, every one of the candidates loses to Zohar Mamdani. So is there any way for any of these candidates to break out and to defeat Mr. Mamdani in the general election?
It's Mamdani's to lose right now, but yes, there is a way to do that. There needs to be money spent to define Mamdani. I sat here on this couch and people actually attacked me on social media. Bring it on, we love it. But in the primary, they did not go after Mamdani and define him. And since the Democratic primary till today, you have not seen dollars spent defining Mamdani going forward. They need to research it and go spend money against him.
So Andrew Cuomo, well, actually not Andrew Cuomo, but the Fix the City, which is a PAC, super PAC, which had supported Andrew Cuomo, now is going to start a new thing called Mainstream, where they're going to have people they're going to ask to focus on Mr. Mamdani's left of center agenda. Is that going to work?
I think it will work because people are going to start focusing after Labor Day. This is where they're going to start thinking about this race. And it's time for, and I have a lot of friends in the media, not you, Marcia, because you're a good friend.
I mean,
no, you're a good friend, but I'm going to say something that a lot of people are thinking. There's a lot of you guys in the press that are now cheerleading for Mamdani. You're no longer reporting the news, not you, Marcia. But if you go on the news right now, it's as if they've taken off their reporter hats and have not put on Zohar Mamdani hats. And if they are to report this race fairly, we're going to start hearing more about some of these videos where he talks about seizing the methods of production, decommodifying housing, coming after police, talking about how the DAs are the ones committing violent crime against New York City.
Obi is about to explode.
No, but that doesn't happen. What you have now is, could you believe former Governor Cuomo's trying to build coalitions out in the Hamptons, trying to bring Trump supporters, independents, and Democrats. And Assemblyman Mamdani could have the worst of the worst surrogates out there, and it doesn't even matter. So time to be fair.
So what you mean to say is present company excluded.
That's what I said.
I understand that, but I'm just trying to clarify.
English is my second language. I'm sorry.
So what we really have right here is everybody falling in love with Mamdani because nobody is coming out against him. You talk about after Labor Day. Historically, and with CFB spending, yes, it's after Labor Day, but there's been a missed opportunity until now, and going forward, there is an opportunity for the independent expenditures to go spend money and bury Mamdani now and define him before he defines himself any further. That poll, the ARP, was at 42. Other polls keep him down low 40s. He needs to get down below 35, and this race is on. If he stays above 40, and to your point, Marcia, where it's one-on-one, I think what you're going to see really is whoever the next mayor is.
Will it ever be one-on-one?
No, it will never be one-on-one, and whoever is the next mayor will be the next mayor with less than 40%.
There's no question about it. Look, Curtis Lee was on my podcast. He said he's not going anywhere. I had Governor Cuomo on my podcast. He says he's absolutely staying in this race. This is going to be a three-person race at the end of the day. Now it's up to Governor Cuomo. This is where it matters. Governor Cuomo now has to define Assemblyman Mamdani, and that means you're going to have to get dirty. And what I mean by dirty in this race is point out all of the things that this man has said in the past and focus on it, especially after Labor Day. And I'm talking about the fact that we call him a socialist.
We have 30 seconds left. Let's let Obi have 30 seconds.
The spending cap prohibits the opportunities for campaigns that they normally have out there. The independent expenditures that can spend unlimited amounts of money, which Mamdani's doing the same thing, need to get out there now, spend the money, define Mamdani, let Cuomo run his campaign, let Curtis run his campaign, and go forward that way.
Okay, and on that note, we're going to have to leave it right there for now, but we will be right back, and they will be too. Thank you for joining me. New Yorkers really love their pets, so why is there no room at the inn? City animal shelters filled to overflowing. New Yorkers are weighing in on your point. New York City's animal shelters are facing an overcrowding crisis. Why do you think that is?
Because this is a lot of older people that can't take care of their pets no more.
People get animals and don't understand the responsibility.
I think generally people are overwhelmed with everything happening in the world.
Not enough people have their pets spayed or neutered.
There's too many animals, there's too many dogs. Less adoptions.
They're giving too many animals to people who don't take care of them, including illegals. And they shouldn't be giving illegals any animals of any kind. Because if you have to get a license for the animal, you need to be a licensed citizen of America.
Is keeping a pet expensive?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, for sure.
Yes, and I've seen the articles where people are having to abandon them. That's why there's more overcrowding in the animal shelters.
Yes, it is. I have two. I have two dogs, and just the regular care of food and vets without anything going wrong is expensive.
What's the biggest expense?
Their health care. Their health care is as much as ours.
I guess food.
I have a pet Corso, so his food alone.
Vets, probably. And the pet insurance is useless because the pet insurance only goes up to like year 7, and cats don't get sick until they're like 8 and 9.
Shots.
Shots.
Yeah. I had a cat, but well, now she's passed on. But yeah, the most expensive was keeping her healthy with the shots.
So what's the most you've ever spent on your pets?
I couldn't tell you.
Almost $700.
Her medical bill was $1,000.
Oh my goodness.
Her life. Yeah. $1,000.
I don't know, $2,000 maybe.
$5,000.
What? What was it? Must have been a medical bill.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and the kids wanted the dog to live, so
I almost spent over $1,000, but it was surgery, you know, and it was just too much money. And it was so, and you know, like a doctor with a human, 50-50 chance to live. And
so what do you think can be done to keep pets in our homes instead of going to shelters?
Bring down the cost of health care for them, like people.
Incentives, maybe. You know, maybe they can come up some with, you know, if you keep the dog and you don't give it up, you know, you get a little help with the vet or the food or something.
There should be some kind of, just like with people, reduced for the elderly, and I don't know, it's a problem. It is a problem. If you can't afford to have a pet, you shouldn't have a pet. Can't afford to have children, shouldn't have children.
I think that people need to be serious when they take on a pet. It should not be taken lightly. It shouldn't be like something fun for the kids. It is a serious thing. They need to be treated with respect, just like humans do.